Well, long time no see, Blair. Now, let's back it up a second. If you don't know, Blair, that lady, basically had the worst credibility imaginable. From lazy content to treating people terribly, she racked up a karmic debt by being manipulative, rude, stupid, all in my opinion, of course. Blair is infamously litigious, a fan of the famous frivolous lawsuit. At least that's how it looks to me. I'll also touch on the candle company. There's a lot to uncover here, so let's get into the meat of what I've been doing for like the past 5 months with her. So I've been paying the whale price on Blair's server to get access to her on a regular basis. I've become a fan for $30 a month, plus the candles I bought on stream. And well, this thing that I have on my shelf. I should mention it was given to me by a fan and put in a jar by me. Don't worry, you're not green with pointy ears. I'm not going to fill it up with anything. Now, as far as the public knew, Blair has been radio silent, opting for solving her problems in court rather than the court of public opinion. But that's just plain wrong, as Blair has been vocal constantly with these $30 supporters through the entire drama. Blair has used this server to vent during the entire story like some martyr saint. She spreads false narratives and hypes up her legal action. I also discussed the mods who joined in on this too, that being Allie, as she's complicit in attempting to characterize Sad Milk members as not very good people. One thing that was always speculated was Blair having a Google Drive with what, in my opinion, is blackmail. Well, Blair had bragged about it in her server, so there's the evidence of that. Quote, "You know, if I ever addressed a lot of the lies, like, all it would do is make those people's paydays. That's why I never talked about it. I get told I strike people's videos, but I have proof of the strikes, and it's those same people. It's yelling that re-uploaded my videos 100% that do the false strikes and then blame it on me. I just have a big Google Drive file that I've held on to for years in case I ever need to say anything," end quote. This drive, according to my conversations with Oz, includes unsavory moments of every character, detractor, friend, or former ally of Blair as she ruminates on how one day she'll get the win, either by lawsuit or public flogging, allegedly. Assume if you made Blair look bad, you're in there for either spicy opinions, an accidental slur, or some other myriad of different pedantic things. Now, I also don't feel Blair is very truthful, and for some reason, when it rains in her life, she's always caught without an umbrella while giving the clothes off her back to make sure everybody else is warm. She'd vent about personal details in her life all the time on here. She shared in 2022 how she was being stalked and how the stalker made her a reluctant gun owner, which is just really funny since there's been conflicting reports that she's an avid gun owner and likes going to shoot guns. This conversation just goes to show you what Blair would be sharing here, and with this level of detail, it's quite crazy, and some of it is a little inappropriate to be sharing with Discord members. The most important quote from the stalker conversation, though, is this message, which I'm sure will haunt her forever now, even though she, I will say, has lost weight. However, you can take the big girl out of the buffet, but the buffet never leaves the big girl. I don't know what that meant. Now, while this is bad, it's not really anything that hurts anyone, but a frustrating part of Blair and iilluminaughtii as a drama is seeing one thing publicly and another in private, which is what's been happening. This constant bad-mouthing of people in the server is really ridiculous, especially when she thinks there's no prying eyes. She'd even bad-mouth family, which is hilarious. So in April 2022, Blair shared with her server a fire that happened in a warehouse of a business she owned. So let's break this down because this entire thing is kind of multifaceted. In my research on Blair, I came across her attorney who helps start these LLCs and businesses because she's a serial entrepreneur. Now, the names of these businesses are usually different from the operating name. The name being different makes it hard to find information on these things, but you can actually start to put these things together when you can pull out government files for businesses and see who the registered agent is along with the attorney. Blair and her sister at one point were running or used to run a business called Nox and Vesta, which is a premium candle company. I purchased 2 of these candles and reviewed them on stream. The candles are $65. $65. When I had someone on my team reach out to Nox and Vesta around May, they said Blair was no longer working with the company. Now, this is a few months of difference, but I do have Blair on Discord saying she was working with the company in January. I'll get back to the candles in a bit, but according to these messages, Blair vented about her sister causing an alleged $50,000 in damages after they were sanding candle lids in a warehouse containing servers which started a fire. The server, according to Blair, are a renders company server. Basically, entertainment companies can rent servers to render videos. What the business actually was is a crypto farm. Here's a quick clip of Oz being, zapped. You can tell it's a crypto farm based on how that is structured. Blair in this message chain laments how her sister is just like a piece of shit, I guess, before saying how her employees are like family, which, listen, if nothing is a red flag, that is a red flag. What a charitable boss in 2022. I wonder what'll happen in the next year. I love how she laments her sister making poor life choices, saying that the mom with cancer said just fire the sister. It just makes her sister to look like the biggest black sheep in the family I've ever seen. The alarming part of all of this is when she claims that her sister committed insurance fraud in the server, which the way Blair makes it sound with these businesses, wouldn't she be in charge? In my opinion, it does kind of seem like a self-report. She spends a lot of time talking about this in the candle company. The candle company is apparently losing money. Good thing Blair is here to help. If the sister is such a mess, why go into business together, right? I know I wouldn't go into business with my brother if he was such a mess of a person. And I mean, we run a coffee company. So what is it? Speaking of, Mana Potion Coffee sells fair trade USDA organic coffee. We just launched tea and we are still taking pre-orders for candles. They are $20. $20 pre-orders. We also sell posters, and I'd like to sell some of these to get kickback to our lovely artists that we work with. This isn't some dropship cringe either. We really do care about the stuff that we're putting out here, and it really comes alive on the tabletop channel. Anyway, back to bad-mouthing the sister. Blair shared with her server how her sister's partner is abusive and told the server how she finally broke up with the abuser on Monday. It's really nice to see her perk up, says little Blair. This is so rich. It's from someone who just has shit talked the sister a ton in the server. She airs way too much personal info about this relationship, and I know I'm making a year-old situation public information again, but in hindsight, this is really fucked up to share with internet randos. There's no point to be doing this. Of course, in this story, yet again, Blair's the hero, asking for nothing and giving the shirt off her back. Given those, home pictures that leaked of Blair, it's very rich to read how she walked into a hoarder's house. Then she talks about how it's amazing how the sister is going back to the candle company. The candle company she set on fire and, it just evaporated $50,000 in funds. Now, I should say again, the candle company said she isn't a part of it anymore, but apparently in January she flew out for some business-related thing with the candle company. Plus, fans in the Discord server still talk about the candle company as if Blair has some role in it, though I was never in a Discord call with Blair where she talked about it. Really, what you're here for is the horror of the situation. What happened when the sad milk drama started? Some of it is sob story stuff, others is related to shit-talking former colleagues. We'll start with the leftist mafia, which Blair feels turned on her. SMH, Lance, and Olay. Olay should have gotten out of the way. But Blair loves being the token woman, allegedly. I hate doing allegedly after every sentence. It's such a litigious wanker, I fucking hate it. She also bitches about being labeled a landlord. She put herself so hard on this political train that she's caving in on herself the second she gets accused of owning property that people rent. This one isn't really nice. This is in reference to Wonderstruck. He apparently had made a joke, and Blair contextualizes it in a way that makes him sound like a Nazi sympathizer, which is just rich and insane. In fact, this started an account on Twitter that ended up alleging Wonder was part of NAMBLA. The tweets are gone, but it did get logged. You can find that out there. And of course, I can't confirm that this was Blair, but, doobie schmerz. Oz has definitely gotten it the worst, though, being an ex of Blair's. This was leaked by Blair and a living soy jack. She alleges things like he was abusive, owes money, took home more money than what she made, end quote. Now, I spoke with Oz about, everything at length. It's not my story to tell, and clearly Oz has a lot going on. But frankly, I would not trust what Blair is saying here. She kind of has an uphill battle to gain the public's trust again. Let's see what happens with Oz as well. Alleges that he sent Allie a mod videos of hamsters dying. I showed that to Oz and he was able to provide a clip. It is not that. Calls him a narcissist. Blair discusses court with Allie, by the way, according to one of those DMs. Imagine sharing your sensitive court documents with a Discord mod. Again, Oz gets brought up in some of the most ridiculous ways for the most ridiculous of reasons. He's responsible for every single thing that Blair seems to have going wrong in her life right now. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm definitely enjoying the pack watch here, but the reality of the sad milk drama is horrible, and I do feel bad. I've had lots of discussions about sad milk that I can't share, and it makes me so, like, upset. It's annoying that she's so litigious, and a lot of people who could share their stories kind of had to take it to their grave, and I mean, I'm happy to carry that burden, but it sucks. Anyway, despite me being deep in the server so it didn't matter, Blair deleted her general chat because the drama channels arrived. Drama channels, hi. Sorry, honey, it's called a digital footprint. And unfortunately, Shaquille O'Neal needs those big ass shoes because damn, am I gonna dig up some just wonderful stuff. Blair also is trying to take being canceled in stride and writing a book about it, or wants to write a book about it. So, Blair, when you put me in the book, make sure to describe me as a little guy with a brazen attitude. Anyway, what happened after the Oz update video? Well, Blair broke her silence, which she had been going radio silent for a few months, so I got really nothing out of it. Now, I won't confirm or deny Oz's claims, but we've talked. If the situation was different, I probably would have said so by now. Oz was never cagey with me, was always forthcoming and polite, and again, not my story to tell, but I'll hope we'll get around to it because I think it would make a lot of a difference for a lot of people. Anyway, needless to say, Blair did not take the video well. Now, I should say nothing Blair spins in here has moved the needle publicly, but she clearly likes to spin a yarn to people who will pat her on the back for it. She on occasion would do patron calls, so I joined one and they are not really interesting. Now, the other guy who speaks a lot in this call is just like a guy who just like, he likes trains, bro. You know what I mean?
Sorry. What I was meaning to bring up, I'm having a day today. Was we were discussing up there about doing like kind of things to do when the channel comes back, the lawsuits are over, you know, all that kind of fun jazz, and how to like really help make like a separation between like me and then like the brand, you know, air quotes, the brand. And I've been thinking a lot on some of the stuff we've been discussing and kind of brainstorming about, and I think I finally have an idea, by the way. So like, you know, let me know opinions because I am entrusting you guys with with your guys' opinions.
Yeah, it's not much, but I felt it was fun to include that she also speaks about what's going on and how it's all gonna go away. Anyway, right after I listened to that clip, I went to go check her channel, and it is still doing bad. The comments have not gone away. She's cultivated an audience passionate about business ethics. I don't know what she thought would happen. Another thing that Blair is doing is discussing rebranding on another channel to get away from the baggage of Illuminati. This being the channel Prism of the Past, doing other crime stuff, history stuff, all of that. The trouble she started, by the way, is going to follow her, and I mean, come on, Prism of the Past, Illuminati, it's not going to be hard to find it. I mean, listen, I'm going to remind you, other comments will remind you, everyone will remind her, and I can remind you to subscribe and hit the bell.
Need more Illuminati Pack Watch? I cover her entire history in this video, or you can check out my streams in this playlist where I cover every single thing about Illuminati you could ever possibly want to know.